so I better not fall in now.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be funny.
Very. Actually, this one's better, eh, Terry, than last year?
This is a lot better than
The handrail
better for us.
The handrail was rickety last
Yeah.
year. Hey, this is Terry of TDK Talks, and I'm here on location on another No Ordinary Journey mission. Just to give you a little bit of background, this is the home visit that the three of us did last March of 2014. Right now we're in the deep south of Vietnam. It's about a 4-hour drive south of Saigon into the province of Tra Vinh. And just a little ways, maybe another hour's drive outside of the city of Tra Vinh. This is the one home visit that the three of us did. We broke up into groups of three because it's very hard getting here. As you can see, the bike taxi, the monkey bridge to get off the stream right there. It's a challenge getting here. And this is where the three of us did a home visit. We were here for about an hour last year visiting Cam. He's a 17-year-old boy who has cerebral palsy. And one of the things I immediately noticed about Cam was that he had the same soft glow on his face as my father-in-law did, and that struck me right away. I came back here to Cam's place in the Tra Vinh province, which is in the Mekong Delta of Vietnam, to finish up this story, which I thought was particularly amazing. You can see it's a self-subsistence living here where Cam and his close family live, and these grounds. They have their kitchen behind me here, which takes care of all their needs. Now, last year when we were on our mission here, we were near the end of the 2 weeks. It was Thursday, and Thursday afternoon was when the three of us did the Cam visit here, the home visit where we met Cam. And the first thing that struck me about Cam was the glow on his face and how he looked like my father-in-law, who just passed away about 2 months ago back in Canada. It struck me immediately, but I didn't think much of it. The next day, Friday morning, that was the last day of our workshop, and that's when the parents were bringing down their kids. And so too did Cam's parents, brought him into the hospital where we were doing these assessments. That Friday morning, I was always connecting with my wife on Skype back in Canada because she didn't come with us on this mission. And we had planned to donate a wheelchair for this mission, but she didn't get around to it until that morning. And she did it online electronically when we talked at 7 a.m. We left. It was about an hour drive to the hospital. We got there. Cam has a very severe limb disfigurement from the waist down. He cannot walk. His limbs are bent to one side, and that too reminded me of my father-in-law back in Winnipeg. And I was filming this, of course, just for the charity website. I was filming all this, and when Barry saw that Cam had this disfigurement, he turned to Laverne and says, "There's nothing we can do, but he really needs a wheelchair." And that's coincidentally when Laverne turned to me and she says to Barry, "Well, we just got a wheelchair donation this morning from Terry and his wife." It turned out later that day I realized, when I talked to my wife again later, she says, "It's interesting because that Friday, April 4th, was exactly 2 months that her father passed away in Canada, who had multiple sclerosis and a similar leg disfigurement that I saw in Cam." So it's interesting that half a world away, exactly 2 months to the day of when my father-in-law passed away, I saw a likeness in him, in Cam's face.
Hi,
Cam, how are you? Remember me?
Con khỏe không? Nó nói tiếng Việt, nghe tiếng Việt được không?
I've got sunglasses on, but...
Nghe được không? Nghe tiếng Việt được không? Con khỏe không? Cam, con khỏe không?
So you're using the wheelchair? Good? This is the wheelchair. You use it a lot, I hope. This one said he can... He said he can wheel himself outside on his own with his arms. Right? It really inspired me, the fact that these forces in the universe sometimes come together and line up to mean something, to prove that what we do is right. And the fact that my father-in-law now passed away, when we met Cam, that was exactly 2 months to the day. And he reminded me so much of him. It sort of left us, my family and I, with a sort of a living legacy of my father-in-law, Ted.
Tell us what you think coming back here now and seeing Cam and seeing the wheelchair and just your reactions after your second visit.
Well, for one, I'm really surprised how well my memory is. It just feels like yesterday, even though it's a year and a half later. It was important for me to come back because it really closes the story off, closes the story of how Cam reminded me so much of my father-in-law last year, and the timing, how everything worked out to that Friday morning when our donation for his wheelchair came through. It's like you can't plan stuff like that. I mean, there's a reason why it happened, and I was saying earlier, it's like it's a way for someone who passes to have their legacy passed forward to some other person in a way that helps that person in memory of the person who passed. And for us, for my family, it's very special because my father-in-law, he was wheelchair ridden for the last 20 years of his life, much the same as Cam has, no mobility of his legs. So that robbed us of a lot of good times because we could not go anywhere really to do things with my father-in-law. He was limited to wheelchair access.
So it must feel pretty good to come back and see his wheelchair well used, well loved.
Yes, we were speaking inside to the mother, and she had said that she's at home alone with Cam during the day because the father goes to work. She said the wheelchair has helped her immensely because she does not have to lift Cam to move him. She can easily wheel him with her, so that if she's in the house doing something and then she wants to or needs to come outside to do something, she can just wheel him out. He's 17, so he is of some weight. It's not that easy to lift and carry him. So I'm glad that the wheelchair has gave them that extra quality of living. And as you can see by the grounds here, it's very much level, very easy for a wheelchair to get through. We made a little bit more work for the father because now he has to maybe extend the yard a bit more so that their son Cam could have a bigger riding range with his wheelchair. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good problem to have.
So did you ever imagine when you got hooked up with NOJF that you would have this personal impact for a kid with cerebral palsy living in a rural area in Vietnam?
Well, definitely not. I mean, one thing led to another. I came along just as a videographer.
When NOJF and a specific donor are providing a wheelchair, there's more to it than it just being a piece of equipment, isn't there?
I think it's a big part of them. It becomes it's a part of them. It enhances their quality of life, the children as well. Because that way the children can actually go out and perhaps be with the family and their friends, to be a part of the family and not just staying in the house perhaps all the time. I'm a videographer that's looking to capture stories, and in reality a big story happened for me and our family, which brought us back here the second time. Right? Yeah, no, he's looking. He says, I've had enough cameras, right? I've had enough cameras. Perhaps there's some meaning behind it. So if you have an opportunity to do something for a charity that means something special to you and your family, by all means, go ahead and explore it. It's a great way to give back. It's a great way to meet other people, other cultures, and to help them in ways that really doesn't tax us. Okay, Cam. maybe we'll see you again soon. I don't know, but we'll be thinking about you. We'll have a lot of pictures of you, right? And we'll keep that wheelchair running for you, right? Maybe he doesn't like goodbyes, like I never did when I was small. But all goodbyes lead to new hellos, so.